to Challenging ParadigmX. Does distributed ledger technology like blockchain have value besides the cryptocurrency hype? And if so, could it potentially transform the economy? And how does mindset and imagination play into all of this? My guest today is Satya Dash. She's a digital economist, engineer, and serial innovator who has worked in multiple corporations before becoming an advisor and solution architect for business and technology in the digital data economy. She enjoys finding holistic solutions to complex challenges and to represent two controversial points of view on topics at the same time. I met Satya at the blockchain conference where we were both speakers, and I found her angle on the technology very interesting. So if you're interested in a different perspective on a potential future economy that is distributed ledger based, stay tuned. Hi, here's Xerxes. Today I'm here with Satya. Satya, it's great to have you here. Please introduce yourself. Who are you and what do you do?
Thank you for inviting me to your podcast. It's a big pleasure. I'm Satya. I'm like a digital economist and an engineer who loves to innovate in the digital assets and also being a digital strategy. As you can see, it's a lot of digital world happening here.
Okay. And how did you come about to go into this direction? Why do you do what you do?
So my background is an hardware software engineer, and usually my whole work experience was just doing consulting or development. But then back in 2008, I had an experience of what actually meant financial crisis when one of the company who hired you fires you also because of the economy. So since then, that day, I learned, okay, it's not enough to have a job. You always have to be 3 steps ahead. So, and that gave me the kick when I was a developer back in Kapsch Trafficum. And we had an idle time, even though it's a very stable company. I think I just said, hey, let me do something. Why wait for the next project? Let me try to do something that could be meaningful for the company and for the customers, because I always have a triangle kind of scenarios from most of the things what I do in my life. So I always think if a company does well, the customer is happy, the employees are happy, and the stakeholders are happy. So as a developer, even though it was not my job, and I just took an initiation to say, hey, why not I just improve the hardware of our company, even though I was just back then just employed for a GUI, graphical user interface, just to do this graphical, the UI user interface of the software. I just said, hey, we could use I could improve the hardware, which was a part of our ecosystem. Onboard unit, but Kapsch was always in the onboard unit where it tracks your tolling. Whenever you cross a tolling plaza, the plaza recognizes your car. It is because of the small onboard unit that is always attached to your car or your truck. And back then I was thinking, it's almost 10 years ago, I said, hey, why do the truck drivers and the car users have to go to the one place to personalize this unit? Why not you can use, back then the smartphone was coming high, why don't you use your smartphone with Bluetooth 4.0, back then it was fancy, to personalize just sitting on the sofa. So that's how I came, the idea was born, smart onboard unit. And naturally, it was not a easy job because no one had asked me. It was not my job, and I was touching someone else's territory. But back then, I had this huge idea. Oh, I will never let this 2008 experience ever happen to us. Us means the employees, and I will try to push so that we can get more additional revenue. That was the only intention. But the people saw differently. They said, who are you? Why are you trying to do this project? No one had asked you. Stick to your boring GUI. And I was under GUI was something which was not what I studied for, but I just took it because it was the job I got after the financial crisis. So I was trying to do something which involves everything. And and long story short, it took me on in 1.5 years since the idea inception was there and until I got a opportunity to pitch my idea to CEO from the company like Georg Kapsch. And he just said, hey, it's brilliant. Like, he just liked the idea. And I got the first funding for my project. And I also tried to do innovation on business model innovation, in no more product, but in business model. And what it did is, like I said, okay, and try to imagine your car is paying your toll automatically, your parking, your McDonald's drive-in, your gas, everything. And you just have to, whenever the car passes, you just have to confirm it if you want that payment to go through it. And the idea was called Wallet on Wheels. And this is how, that was my second big idea. And I also learned a lot about payment service. So like if you have a banking license, and because I wanted our company to be a payment service provider. So this is a parallel kind of thing that was going in my head. I could see the reason why I pushed the whole idea, because for me, transaction-based business model, if you earn from each transaction, even if it's a little bit, you will earn more than earning once a while a chunk of money. So I was very clear, if you make more transaction and try to get some 0.3% from anywhere, from 0.3% to 3%, depending on which vertical you are able to earn a lot for the company itself, because you're doing transactional-based business model.
So I really would like to ask you about paradigms. I mean, you have a very broad skill sets and know many different things when it comes to innovation and technology, economy. So what do you think are the paradigms that need to be challenged with all the challenges that we do have at the moment? What do you think when you look into the future from your perspective? What is the things that you think we need to challenge for the next 10 years or even beyond that?
Centralized approach, monopoly. This is what I think we need to be more in the digital world. I think we need to be more decentralized and more distributed, which is again a definition of blockchain. But I also believe one company earning all the revenue will not make the mankind happier or progressive or prosperous. I believe if the 100 billion being distributed 10,000 with 100 million people will make more. It will be more equilibrium in the society. It's a participation. Right now, there's only producer and consumer. And we have to go away from one producer and million consumer to have 100 million consumer, but 100 million creator. So more into creator economy, different kind of value. Each of us has a value. We have a value. That's the reason why we are here on this earth. So instead of like running into everyone to the same value where the competition is, like everyone is trying to follow the same, if you have 100 million followers, or you are Amazon, or you are Google, like you are valuable in this economy, or else you are not. That is not a very distributed and decentralized value-centric solution. If you and me and a third person, each of us are creating value and we're exchanging it, so it's like a live, and thrive situation. So not producer, instead of producer and consumer, we have to have a triangle, not a highway, one way, but a triangle solution where each node is connected with another two nodes. This is producer, creator, distributor, aggregator, curation. It's a lot of things. So I think it's like more strategic approach to the place what we are. As you can say, pandemic was only the people who were billionaire become multi-billionaire. That is what pandemic actually did to the people. Small businesses disappeared. The people who were able to thrive in the digital world or had some money to hire for freelancers to make something on that, they were able to thrive. So again, this is not the way you can accommodate 7.7 billion people. Everyone wants to have family, everyone wants to do everything. Then I ask, you have to think what kind of job and beschäftigung and engagement you want to give your children. And if you try to understand that, because if you're also a creator, like Spotify, the sad thing in Spotify is that not every artist is equally paid. Only even if it's your song is played, if I listen to your song, sadly Drake is getting that money. So it's the maximum. It's like we cannot just go to this number-based economy. The more number, the better. No. Like I was reading, 100 million people, like in Switzerland has 8.8% of, like every out of 100 people in Switzerland, 8.8 people are millionaire. Can you imagine that? Crazy. And this is like in China, the ratio is 0.1%. But if you see number of people having more than 100 million people, first is 100 million euro, first is US, then is China, then is it's like and what they want to do, they want to give it to for the generation. They will have fewer people, kids, and more money accumulated. And the more money you have, the more money you can make out of it. And this great thing is when rich people say, oh, we did it from nothing. I said, you don't know what nothing is. Sometimes for 100 euro, if you could do it, will be wrong if I say I'm from nothing, when I know in India there are poor people who couldn't eat anything. This is like, we have to be, I'm not saying let's go communist when I said distributed decentralized. It's actually more intellectual. If you have more revenue and more value, if you transit value between many points, you have more revenue. If you have more revenue, all of us will stay wealthy. And all of us can build up. But the paradigm is there's like, oh, okay, it's like it's still very fear-oriented economy at the moment, or a show-off economy, a greed economy. We have to remove all this three economy, and let's create value, which is authentically value and doesn't have to be attached with, okay, how many people liked it so that I like it.
So essentially, if I understand you correctly, you believe that the future, let's say a more equal future for people, for humanity, is on a blockchain-based backbone society?
Yes. Is it blockchain or there are different technology? It doesn't have to be just like DAG technology, which is not a blockchain, but still distributed and decentralized.
Yes.
Any network that allows you to be decentralized and distributed, I think that is even the economy and even our mindset. I think the economy will not work if the mindset is not there. To value each other, to recognize with one brain, I cannot produce everything. You need more brain. But you don't have to tell that brain what to think. That brain can think on its own. That is what we are talking about in the hierarchy of boss and everything, telling anyone else. Give them the freedom to do the thing. And the people who don't want to do the work, they will find their work which will make them happy if they are in the wrong space. But give the space to one people who really wants to make more meaningful value in society than just earning money or earning status or promotion.
So do you think that distributed technology kind of does also interconnect people in a way that more of their potential is being put into use?
Yes. For example, more of the laptops were used in the back then when Bitcoin was mining. More independent people who had just laptop to mine. They could mine it. Right now, again, cryptocurrency is getting, again, greed is entering, a lot of fear is entering, FOMO is entering. But the pure intention what Satoshi Nakamoto back then really intended is to transmit value, peer-to-peer digital cash. To stick to that, I believe we will make an amazing future for the present and the future generation.
And do you think that the cryptocurrency hype that has taken off again recently, but you already had in 2017, and now we had it since last year, starting off for 1 year, like really going up. Do you think that this development of cryptocurrency hype is actually detrimental for the development of decentralized networks, in the sense of, because people start to mistake the cryptocurrency hype with the actual potential of the technology? Or do you think it doesn't really matter? What's your thoughts?
It depends. It's a good question. It's a very good question. And to be honest, it's very hard to answer at this moment. But what I can say is that there's some percentage of people who are just into that because of money. They say dog money, Dogecoin, and they jump in. They want to make money. And if you're not making money, they think you are a fool. They're not interested in it. It's a decentralized, as long as they can convert it back to the fiat money. Then there are some people who really want to make money by creating value. Like there are some projects they want, like a company, they want their project to really success. They want to invest in that project. Like there are a lot of layer 2 applications that are coming up on Ethereum ecosystem, even in Bitcoin right now, who is trying to create a value and be also prominent in that area. Third, the people who believe really like they're maximalist for each coin. You will, like a preacher, like a religion. Cryptocurrency has become a religion on its own. But if you ask me, it's the people, very few people, one out of 100 people will enter to technology for philosophy. 10 out of 100 people will enter for technology. But the rest of the 89% of people are entering for money.
So my sister has written a book that's quite has become a bestseller in the blockchain scene, because it talks about the future potential, the socioeconomic potential of blockchain and distributed ledger technology. And what I find really interesting is that, I mean, I know quite some people who have the book or read the book. They're very intelligent, and still they don't get it, in the sense of, because of the cryptocurrency hype, they from what I see, they dismiss the socioeconomic potential, socio-political potential of distributed ledgers. This is what my experience is, and even those people who know the book and have the knowledge, they cannot separate it from each other. That's the one thing I see. And I think in general, I mean, so you're in the technology field, but once you're outside the technology field, I think 98% of people think distributed ledger technology is for cryptocurrencies, and it's just speculation, bubble, and that's it. They don't actually know that there's a technology that could sustainably revolutionize how we people live, how we people interact, and create value.
Ownership, like it is revolutionizing, like ownership verification, NFTs, for example. Like before, when you want to know who owned this home, you had to go to a centralized authority. But as the blockchain allows you, because the beauty in the blockchain is it is trustless. You don't have to trust you or me or my grandmother, grandfather, no one. We don't have to trust anyone, not even God, to make it valid. And why can it be valid? Because mathematically it is proven if this document or if this transaction is valid or not. 2 + 2 is always 4. Doesn't matter which language you talk, which religion you go, which hemisphere you go. It's called mathematics. It's called universal language. So the moment we understand it is a trust list, I don't need someone else's recommendation. I don't need some higher supreme power, be it bank, be it organization, PayPal. I don't need any trust. I don't have to have a trust in something when I know mathematically this transaction has been validated and proven. People don't see, because people don't know how to trust the trustless network. They don't know how to trust trustless. They need a reputation. It's called halo effect.
Yeah, it's not just that they don't know. I think it's also basically, well, also maybe that, but I think it's just too abstract also.
Yeah, but God is also abstract. People like it.
Yes, but there is so many stories about God that you can start to like it or dislike him or her, or can start to not believe in him or her, or them, whatever. So, but the concept of not needing to trust anyone anymore because there's a technology is too abstract for people outside of technology.
But it is math. I'm not saying I'm not using the word technology. That's the reason I'm very aware of not using the word. I'm using, do you trust 2 + 2 = 4? Do you trust it?
Yes, I do know what you're saying.
I know.
Making the jump to understanding that this reality means that we can trust a technology, basically, or algorithms, whatever you call it now, the system, that we can completely change everything in the world is such a big jump, because there's no story behind it. Like we have thousands of stories of the gods,
Let's create new stories.
Well, this is what it's about. But I mean, when you look at all religions, it's all storytelling. They're telling you stories over stories over stories over stories. That's it. And I think one of the biggest challenges with these new, in general, not just with distributed ledger technology and blockchain, but in general with things that are new and where we don't already have concepts and ideas, so we can easily understand them.
True.
Then it's really hard to introduce.
True.
So I
like
mean,
cloud computing.
Exactly.
10 years ago, exactly, everyone said, no, I don't trust anything, my data to be there. And everyone now, you cannot progress without cloud computing.
And this is what I mean. I remember the first time someone explained cloud computing to me, man, a long time ago. It was just, I've always been interested in technology very much. I mean, I have a long history going back with technology without having studied anything in IT. But even for me, the first time I heard it, it was so abstract,
Really?
Yeah. The first time I heard it was a long time ago. It was, I don't know, 15 plus years ago.
Okay.
Or maybe even 20 years ago. I don't remember exactly. But
Okay,
first time I heard it, it was just how is it supposed to work?
True, like internet. Back
like the internet, exactly. And I think all of these things and thoughts, they're super interesting, and I also believe in it because I do understand distributed ledger technology, and also that it took me some time to understand, and I'm sure there's I still don't have the full picture of it. Like, people are really deep into it, of course, but my impression is really that there is this potential, definitely, that you're talking about. And I mean, I know many people who are into this technology and talk about it. And then there's the gap to the mass of people who don't even know that the Bitcoin technology, which is called blockchain, and when we talk now about blockchain, was meant to be for creating a better world and not just for some people to get rich.
Yes.
And speculate. Yes. And this is like what 98% of the people don't know.
Yes. It's like I jumped the reason, the day, I can tell you the day and the time I read the white paper. 2016, November 14, 2016. I was invited for pitching my innovation thing in Berlin. and I was hearing people were talking blockchain. And since I was doing so much innovation back then for Caption, for my own thing, I was so busy in this world, I did not navigate, I did not hear, I did not see anything beyond that. I missed the whole thing until 2016 November, 14 November. And then I read the white paper, and this guy wrote with such a commitment. He had such a vision. And then I said, wow, because the value, he did not do it to make profit. He wanted to do this values what I could identify with him so much, even though he's more brilliant, expert in everything, in language, in cryptography, in computer, and amazing. And I was thinking, wow, 2008, because it did hit me. It was really, really hard experience. And then I could understand what he said. And then he brought up this amazing solution with the payment. I was thinking, and since I did my innovation with payment service provider, and I was like, and I said, what was I doing the whole life? Like when I saw it was 2016 and he had done it the end of 2008, like 8 years behind I was. And I came back, talked to my friends. Everyone said, oh, I checked. Back then it was 600, 700 euro. Beyond my capacity, because I was already entrepreneur, paying every bill was a big thing. And I understand what you say. But I love the value. Like Satoshi Nakamoto just dropped out of the project because Wikipedia started accepting Bitcoin, and one of his teammates started talking to CIA. He did not like any of that. He had a he wanted to do peer-to-peer digital cash where you and me, without a middleman, can transmit perceived value. Before, like post, so 50 years ago, if I wanted to send you a letter, I was dependent on post office. Now I can send you email. This is what I see. Bitcoin is sending more money over email. You need a wallet address, you don't need anything else, and you get the money, or you send the money, like sending emails. And this is what amazing. That is like the power. But people obviously, they would rather trust bank which is charging them for the trust than taking something which is not trustless, as you said, because it's something new. But I tell people it's the first time in the world that you can take participation in own gold, and this is like an old money making process, on value creating process. Till now the society told us this is how value is created, and we had to accept that and navigate through. This is where we can all take participation, please. And I always say to people, don't put your money to cat, dog, pig, coin. See beyond that. Because the moment you invest your energy, now we are talking about spirituality and not financial, I can understand. I really want to earn also 30, 100 million, invest 1,000 and get 10 million. I say, no, this is not what it is. And this is like for me, it's a very, very philosophical time, because it's solving some problem in blockchain space, because blockchain has three trilemma problem. Either in blockchain you are decentralized, like you can see blockchain space as a triangle, again a triangle. Decentralization, speed, scalability, and security. And you can always satisfy two, and you have to compromise on the third. And Bitcoin, since it's very decentralized and secure, the monuments come on 12 years, not being hacked one time. It's a public and not a private, no firework or firewall or something, sort of firewall or something. Come on. It is amazing, but the speed is just compromising the speed. And this is right now, that is a proof of work. And people say proof of work is you need to have put some work in your honesty, integrity. And Satoshi Nakamoto recognized the human greed factor. That's the reason the way he did and designed was he's an amazing psychology person, philosophical person, engineer, economist, deflammatory, like he introduced deflammatory. This is amazing. That's the reason why, even though I am not earning a single cent in the crypto space I'm at the moment, I'm still trying to stick in that space because I think it has a long-term future. I want to integrate this whole innovation idea what I had. I said, if I navigate anywhere else, I will miss the train. That's the reason I don't judge also Bitcoin blockchain projects. I'm not only Bitcoin. I think because I missed my train when I was doing innovation on my own circle. realm. I missed Bitcoin when it happened, or blockchain. So that's the reason I look into all the blockchain spaces projects and see, okay, what can I learn? What is it solving? What are the use cases? How can you do tokenomics? Like try to do the whole thing what I did through legal, business, and technology. I try to now navigate through the coin. Like when some persons ask me, is this coin good or bad? I give them a proof. Why is it good or bad? Then they can decide. This is what I decided to do that right now in the decentralized world.
Okay. So also please tell us, is there other paradigms that you think need to be challenged at the
Yes.
moment?
The paradigm of what a woman has to be.
Okay.
What, like a pleasant, pleasurable? No, I can, like, it's always the woman. Both men and women tell me that. If you're confident, like, people, it's like, that's the reason when someone says, introduce yourself, I said, I'm an arrogant, bold, and courageous person. So before you judge, I tell you what you will think, because it comes over. Like most of the people always told me, what do you think who you are? That was always the question when I came up with the solution. Who do you think who you are? So that's the reason I said, if I would be a male, preferably white, I think I would be having a different kind of life. Just even my approach, the way I am, the aggressiveness, it will be charming if I would be a male person. But now it is like, oh, you're very emotional, you have to be this, that. No, as a woman, I can say, like, I don't want to have children because I want to make company that will employ future children. And there were women who attacked me and said, oh, you need children, our Mother Earth needs more children. I said, no, Mother Earth needs more trees, by the way. But okay, we can talk about it. Like, this is like the challenge when especially a woman try to live a very different life than the society expects it to be. Like anything that's your disruptive picture of being a woman, and a foreign woman, and a rebel, like a kind of first thing, but in your own terms.
So when you look into the future 100 years from now, and if people think back of you, what do you want people to be remembering you for?
Honestly, I don't think people will think about me in 100 years.
Maybe some family members.
I wish any person who is like me the moment I am at the moment. I'm not talking as Satya, I'm talking as a personality. People can remember it was worthwhile for this person, for me, to live the life in her terms, even though she was aware it was not a successful life in terms of the usual success, what it is. But it is different. It could be sometimes more tastier than being successful. And if people will accept that and remember that, that would be amazing.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
you
very much.
for your time and the insights you gave us. And I wish you a great day.
Same here. And thank you very much for inviting me on your podcast. Thank you.
Thank you for staying tuned for this edition of Challenging ParadigmX. If you like this episode with Satya Dash, feel free to share it with your community so Satya's message gets spread even further. Please hit subscribe and rate my podcast if you like it. I'd also be glad if you write me a review. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to contact me. Next week, we are up with another edition of Challenging ParadigmX. Until then, I wish you a great week.